on guys, I'm in Advantage and welcome back to another NHL 22 Hut video. In today's video, we're ranking the best goalies currently available in Hut. Without any further ado, let's get right into today's video. Starting off our list is THATCHER Demko. Now, this card is typically going for a lot cheaper than what you're seeing here, right around 6,000, being that the 83s right now are in demand for the under 22 sets. He's going for a bit higher. Let's first take a look at his size. Now, one of the things that you will notice throughout this video is that a lot of these goalies are going to be pretty much at the minimum 6'4", and it's extremely important in Hut to have a larger goalie in net. So that is a consistent theme that you're going to see. Secondarily, he does have distributor, and that is one of the best synergies, in my opinion, to activate on your team. So it's great to have your starting goaltender, of course, with the synergy that is also one that you're going to be using. So the three key stats that I normally look at when it comes to goalies is the glove high, the speed, as well as the aggression. So the aggression I like to have lower. I know that sounds maybe counterintuitive, but that means your goalie is going to take a little bit less chances and he's going to stay in position. So at 73, that's actually pretty good. So that is something to keep note of. Secondly, his speed is 85. That's pretty decent, especially for an 83 overall card. 85 speed is pretty good, and glove high is an 82. So not a bad goalie if you're in this category. Coming up next is the training camp version of Ben Bishop. Now you can also pick up the base version of Ben Bishop if this card is not available, but it's 6'7", 210. He's the largest goalie in the game. His stats aren't all that amazing at 80 glove high, 80 speed, and 72 aggression. However, that size is what matters, and that's what makes Ben Bishop a viable option in net. Rounding out the list is Lener. He's going for right under 6K right now at 6'4", 240. He's obviously a pretty large goaltender as well. Glove high is at 84, speed is an 85, and aggression is at 73. So again, keep in mind, those are the important stats that I typically look for in my goaltenders, and they're all right in line, especially for an 84 overall card. They're pretty good stats. Secondarily, he does have spark. Now, that's not one that I typically would activate. I have activated that in the past. I do like the fact that it adds +2 to acceleration. So again, could be potentially a synergy that you also activate for your team. I would not activate this superstar ability in Whirlwind. However, Lener is one of the better cards in the under 10,000 coin range. Up first in our under 50K category is the Superstar Origins version of TUUKKA Rask. Now you can make this card in sets, however, it does get a little bit pricier. So if you can pick him up in the auction house for under 50K, in my opinion, he's a good buy. He does have a buzzing or wingman, so especially if you picked up one of those under 22 master set items, a lot of them do have buzzing. So again, keep in mind whenever you're building out your team, this is important to include also for your starting goaltender. Secondarily, he has booming shot and protector. I'd probably look at protector. That's probably gonna be the one that you more likely activate. But let's look at his stats. Glove high is an 88, speed is an 88, positioning is also an 88, and low aggression at 74. I wish he was a little bit bigger. I know he's 6'3", but for goaltenders, that's kind of on the bottom half of where you'd wanna be. However, he's still big enough in net where I think he's a viable option for you. He does have post-to-post. Again, that's the advanced boost in reaction time, recovery, and save ability when going post-to-post. I found that actually this is a little bit of a disadvantageous one, at least from my experience when I've had this activated on Rask. However, to each their own. You can choose to activate that if you want. I probably would not. And secondarily, for his zone ability, he has dialed in. I would not activate this one, especially because he has to make 15 saves in the game in order for this to actually take place. So unless you're getting your head kicked in, I would probably not keep this one on. Hopefully you're keeping the majority of your opponents to under 15 shots for the majority of the game. Otherwise, it's just not worth the 4 ability points. Up next is my current starting goaltender, Cam Talbot. It's 6'4", 196. I do love his size and I like his synergies as well. He does have fly the zone and spark. Again, fly the zone is probably gonna be one that you would activate. He has booming shot, and unlike Rask, you cannot change that one, so just keep that in mind. As far as stats go, 85 on the glove high, 86 on the speed, pretty good positioning at 87, and low aggression, which is what we like to see at 72. He does have no timer on, so that's probably one of the better ones that you could activate. I currently don't have it activated because I have the majority of all of my skaters with their abilities activated, so I don't have this on. I have used it before, I just didn't really notice a difference. So again, each their own on this one, but in my opinion, I would not activate No Timer. Secondarily, he does have Whirlwind for his zone ability. Again, not one that I would activate as we mentioned earlier with Robin Lehnner. In rounding out our list for the under 50K category is the 85 overall Jacob Markstrom at 6'6", 196. In my opinion, he's one of the best goalies in the game. Speed is an 80, glove is an 80, positioning is a 91 with low aggression at 74. So again, it's not necessarily the stats on this card that are making it tremendous. It's more or less his size and net and also his positioning. He does have spark, as we mentioned earlier. I do like the fact that I could have a goalie with the speed synergy, especially one that I would want to activate. Spark's probably one of the ones you may not have activated just yet. But overall, he's a very solid goaltender, so I would put him in net if you can get your hands on him. So currently there is a tie for third. There's a right now play and there's a longevity play. Carey Price is the right now play. So obviously with the off the ice things currently happening with Price, I'm not 100% sure when these upgrades are going to come, but right now he would be in my third ranked goalie for the right now play. Card is obviously great. 87 glove high, 87 speed, 88 positioning, as well as pretty low aggression at 76. His synergies are bombarded, and of course he has a few other ones here that you can choose from, as well as fly the zone, which gets unlocked at tier 7. He does have last stand. I probably wouldn't activate that one. Again, as I mentioned earlier with post to post, I found that it's more disadvantageous than advantageous, but of course that's your own doing, whether or not you choose to activate that. As far as this card goes though, 6'3", 220, pretty big body and net. Hopefully EA does decide to give him some upgrades. We've seen some pretty generous upgrades coming out this year in Seth Jones, as well as most recently the Matthew Barzal. So hopefully Carey Price maybe gets a master set item and it can bump his card up to a 92, 93, etc., something like that. We'll just have to wait and see. But right now, Carey Price is one of the best goalies in the game that you can get. The long play is the 82 overall, at least currently, Evo Robin Lehnner. Keep in mind for each game that Robin Lehnner wins as a starter, he is going to get +1 to his overall. If it's a shutout, he gets +2 to his overall. So something to keep in mind, especially Vegas being one of the better teams in the league. This card is probably going to be a 99 at some point. Again, at only 82 overall, I think you could potentially get away with using him if you're in the lower divisions. But if you're in those higher divisions right now, you're pretty much just buying and holding until this card is going to be one of the better goalies in the game, which really should only be a month or two away. But that's the reason he comes in tied for third. Coming in at the second best goalie in the game right now is 6'3", 192-pound Spencer Knight from the under 22 collection. So keep in mind, you could either potentially buy him in the auction house or you could create him as untradeable. But this card is not going to be cheap to upgrade, guys. All in all, to get him to his 92 tier, as we mentioned in a previous video, to build one of these cards from scratch, again, depending on your untradeable versus tradables that you put into it, it's going to cost around $350 to about $412,000 on the highest end. So keep that in mind. Unless you're Hut rich, I probably would not go after these cards. Me personally, I am going after the next card that we're going to be mentioning, but let's talk about Spencer Knight first. I do love the fact that he has either distributor, fly the zone, or buzzing. Again, all synergies that you could easily activate on your team. Bombarded, Magician, and Protector, again, secondarily, those are great synergies that you could potentially activate. And then his unchangeable synergy is Light the Lamp, which I have activated currently. So across the board synergies, I give him a 10 out of 10. Let's look at his stats. 91 overall in the glove high, 96 speed, which is unreal, 91 positioning, as well as 74 aggression. So something to keep in mind, this is one of the best cards in the game right now. In my opinion, the second best goalie available. When we look at zone and superstar abilities, I probably would leave Sponge unactivated. I would probably go ahead and activate No Timer and potentially Contortionist, but in my opinion, you really don't need to activate any of these. However, as I mentioned earlier, play around with these and see how they feel and how he reacts. If he's playing better with a few of these activated versus if you don't notice a huge difference if you don't have any of them activated. Again, keep that in mind when you're playing with this card. However, Spencer Knight ranks number 2 in the best goalies of the game currently. Coming in at number 1 is Jake Oettinger at 6'5", 225. This card is unreal. Buzzing, workhorse, and wingman, so keep mind of that whenever you're choosing these goalies. I'm looking to activate buzzing on my team, so that's why I wanted to pick him up as well as well-rounded Thief and Protector. I have both Thief and Protector activated and actually well-rounded currently for my team, so all of these are pretty good for me, as well as Magician. When it comes to the stats, 91 glove high, 94 speed, 92 positioning, and 70 aggression, which is extremely low for such a high ranked card like this. So I do like this one. As far as zone and superstar abilities go, in my opinion, Adventurer is 100% not one that you would want to activate. I know it's only one ability point, but who needs your goalie to actually be skating that fast? I don't know, up to you. As far as no timer and X-ray goes, probably a pretty good combination to take a look at there. And also light work. Now, I haven't used this card in the zone ability yet. However, it's exceptional save ability and reaction time when facing wrist shots. If you're like me, you take a lot of wrist shots in Hut. And if you're playing a lot of online games, in my opinion, this could be actually one of the best zone abilities that you could activate on a goalie. So as I mentioned previously, play around with it, see how you like it. But overall, Jake Oettinger ranks #1 right now on my best goalies in Hut. That's it for me today, guys. Make sure you go ahead and click that like button if you did enjoy the video. And if you love NHL 22 content, I would love to have you stick around. Make sure you go ahead and click subscribe. Again, I'm Man Advantage, and I will see you guys next time.